What's up, guys? So in this video, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and why I think Bitcoin is going to $500,000. So obviously, a lot of things have transpired over the last year or so, mainly the whole pandemic and how governments, including the United States, have had a lot of stimulus packages, constantly trillions and trillions of dollars worth of stimulus packages, simply putting more money in the money supply. So, what this does is that it's a simple supply demand, guys. So every time you increase the supply of something, usually that reduces its value. And the whole thing about Bitcoin going to $500,000 is simply just math. So it's not that, I think Bitcoin is the best asset to hold. It's not that I think it's going to soar in value. It's not that I think it's going to outperform stocks or real estate or anything else. It's simply that, we are moving towards a digital world. So to give you guys a prime example of why Bitcoin is so valuable, let's take a look at a company like Blockbuster. So when I was growing up, guys, I grew up in Washington, D.C., and, Blockbuster was huge when I was growing up, going through middle school and high school and stuff like that. I would simply go down the street and simply go to Blockbuster and grab a nice movie or something like that, or a video game that I wanted to play. But what ended up happening is that the way we consumed movies changed. So then a company, back in the late 90s called Netflix came along and said, hey, you don't have to simply, necessarily go to Blockbuster, rent a movie, pay all these late fees and things like that. You can simply, rent DVDs through the mail. And at the time, that was revolutionary. But then it even improved even more because in 2007, Netflix started streaming their content through the internet. So what does this have to do with Bitcoin? Well, simply gold is money. Gold has been around for thousands of years. You can sell or buy gold in any country. It's easily recognizable. It's absolutely one of the rarest metals we have on planet Earth, but it's not digital. So Bitcoin is simply digital gold. Bitcoin is a store of value that isn't constantly diluted through governments and bankers and things like that, constantly issuing more currency. And we've seen this, in today's society. We've seen that the constant issuing of currency and things like that has simply created basically the 99%, which is basically, not even the middle class anymore, but it's basically created this like underclass, I would say, kind of like, what we saw back in, in earlier times where you had like the 1% class, which was mega rich, and then you had everyone else. And that's what happens when you have governments have control over your money supply. Your money is worth less and less and less over time, yet costs of living and rent and things like this continues to rise. So how does Bitcoin solve this problem? Well, I think Bitcoin solves this problem simply because, number one, there's a fixed supply of it. So, there's only 21 million coins that are ever going to be produced, and that can't be increased by any government. It can't be increased by, anybody. It's always going to be 21 million, and that's what it's set at. The second reason is that it's digital. So we live in a digital world now. You guys are probably watching this video on your cell phone, or you're watching this video on Roku or your computer. You're not watching this video, in like real life. You're watching the digital version of this video. So I'm recording this video and then I'm uploading it to YouTube, and you guys are watching it at your convenience. That's why Bitcoin is so valuable. Let's say I were to, I wanted to buy a plane ticket, or I wanted to buy some furniture. What am I going to do? Like bring gold to the furniture store, and then they have to like count it, make sure it's not counterfeit. And then maybe I don't have the right amount. Maybe, gold is very valuable. So maybe if I wanted to buy a chair for like $100 and I've only got an ounce of gold, how am I going to, divide the gold? It's so complicated. And also gold is very heavy. And then gold is at risk of theft. Someone can pick your pocket. They can, steal your gold. So, gold is always going to be money, but Bitcoin is the digital version of this money. So why is it going to 500,000? Well, maybe 11, 12 years ago, when Bitcoin first came out, people didn't really understand it. They thought like cryptocurrency was a scam. They thought cryptocurrency was, a Ponzi scheme and stuff like that. But it's simply, the way we consume goods in society is changing. So if you guys go back hundreds and hundreds of years, back then they were on a gold and silver standard, right? And then that gold and silver standard, that got dropped in favor of government fiat money. So now that we live in an internet digital world, right? We have Zoom, we have Netflix, we have, So many, many e-commerce. Look at Amazon, Amazon, a digital e-commerce company, basically one of the most valuable companies in the world. Jeff Bezos, the richest guy in the world, off basically an internet company, internet company where Amazon has an e-commerce platform, and then they have Amazon Web Services where it's like cloud hosting and things like that. So digital is going to win in the long run simply because you can just reach more people. So that's what Bitcoin does. It can reach anyone. Well, there's over 7 billion people on the planet. If people get internet access, everyone can own Bitcoin. It's impossible for everyone to own gold. It's just not going to happen. Gold is very, it's hard you have to verify. There's a lot of counterfeit gold on here. And that's where Bitcoin comes in. Bitcoin is basically the answer to this modern day problem of money supply being constantly diluted all the time. And I'm going to be honest, I tried to buy Bitcoin back in 2014 through Coinbase. I gave up. I didn't end up buying it. I bought it again in 2018 and ended up selling it. But it was right into about August of 2020 when I started noticing that, hey, this money supply has been increased so much. What's the solution to this problem? How are we going to safeguard our wealth from being basically stolen from us? Because when you work, time is finite, guys. If you spend 8 hours a day, you can't get those 8 hours back. So when you work, you want to make sure that you're storing your money in sound money, hard money, like gold or Bitcoin, money that can't be printed endlessly. If you think that you're going to get ahead by stashing your money in a savings account when you've got hyperinflation basically going on as the U.S. government and other world governments around the world continuously print out more fiat money, they're basically robbing your wealth. That dollar that you hold every day, it's worth less and less and less. Me, I've seen it myself. When I was a kid growing up, my mom could give me $1 bill. I could walk into like a CVS or something like that. I could walk out with, a bottle of water, a pack of baseball cards, and some candy. Now I can't even buy water. I definitely can't buy sports cards, and almost the candy's $1. So, what has changed? Did the bottle of water change? No, the bottle of water didn't change. It's the same H2O it's always been. What changed is the US dollar. That got weaker. So the people that saved all of their money, what ended up happening to them is they really got caught up in this pandemic, trying to save, where the money supply is constantly increasing. And then for a moment there, for 6 months to a year, your income is zero. Well, you can't survive. So that's where Bitcoin comes in. Bitcoin is something that you can buy and store, right? You don't have to trade it every day. You can just buy it every 2 weeks with your paycheck. Or me, I buy Bitcoin every day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't buy Bitcoin. And the reason I do it is because I see Bitcoin as like my long-term savings, And there's many ways you can buy Bitcoin. You can buy Bitcoin through Coinbase. I like using Coinbase. There's another great Bitcoin platform called BlockFi. BlockFi, you can actually earn interest on your Bitcoin. You can earn 6% APY interest on your Bitcoin. You've got other wallets out there like Voyager. If you guys live outside the United States, you guys can check out Binance is another great one. Basically, what you want to do is you want to buy Bitcoin, and you want to buy it on a regular basis. So you don't want to just buy it like one time. So pick out a schedule for it. Me, daily works best because I believe in if you want to be the best at something, you have to do it every day. So I buy Bitcoin every day. But if you get paid like twice a week or twice a month, try, bi-weekly purchases or even monthly purchases, whatever works for you. But I just recommend don't miss out on this because we're just going through a transition in the way things are being done. Everything is being digitized, and that is going to include the majority of our money supply. So I didn't say the US dollar is going away. Fiat currencies aren't going anywhere. Gold and silver is not going anywhere. But this is the opportunity to basically stop your money from rapidly losing its value. So obviously, guys, do your own due diligence, do your own research. Obviously, never put money in anything that you're not willing to lose. But for me, I like dipping my toe into Bitcoin every day. If instead of just investing a ton of money at once, if I just slowly over time, continue investing on a regular basis, that's going to give me the power of dollar cost averaging, or I guess you could say Bitcoin cost averaging. You give you power of Bitcoin cost averaging, and you're reducing your risk. Whereas if you're buying all at once and then the price goes down and up and like you're like worried. So for me, I like doing things like Bitcoin every day. It's working for me. So like if you guys are interested in buying Bitcoin, be sure to check out some of the links in the description below. Those are the recommended Bitcoin and digital exchanges that I've personally signed up for and personally used and personally recommend. And like I said, if you have any more comments, I'm going to be uploading more videos on Bitcoin because I'm just thrown back. I've done a lot of reading. I'll give you guys some recommended links in the description below that you can check out. But hopefully I'll be posting some more videos about Bitcoin in the future as things change. But right now we're looking at around like $57,000 per coin. And the reason why I have $500,000 as my long-term price target is simply because the government is going to continue to increase the money supply. So Joe Biden right now is working on a $1.9 trillion stimulus package. That's just not enough to get people out of this situation. The pandemic isn't going anywhere. Vaccines aren't guaranteed. There's new strains that are mutating. You got strains from UK, South Africa, Brazil. We're not out of the woods yet. So since we're not out of the woods yet, more and more stimulus is going to be required to support not just the United States, but all of these countries. So as they're going to continue to increase the money supply, Bitcoin price is going to continue to go up. And I'm not the only person that thinks this. Kathy Wood, she predicted, she had called Tesla last year. She said Tesla was going to like $4,000 or $5,000 split adjusted, and it did. And she said the same thing about Bitcoin. She said Bitcoin is going to $500,000. And I believe her because, the money supply is going to keep increasing. When the governments figure out a way to reduce the money supply, that's when I'll be bearish on Bitcoin. But as long as this money supply is going to increase, the smart money, affluent investors, institutions, corporations, and smart retail investors, they're going to say, well, look, fixed supply, 21 million, increased money supply, therefore the price has to increase just to fulfill the demand. It's the same with, stocks. We've seen the stock markets go crazy, because the money supply is higher. More money supply, higher price for stocks, higher price for houses at an all-time high. Stocks are at an all-time high. So Bitcoin is just going to follow suit. Even sports cards, the sports cards market, you guys follow sports cards like basketball, football cards. These cards are at a sky high. When I was a kid, you could buy some of these cards for $2. The same card is selling for $50,000. So, this is what's going to happen in Bitcoin. It's just going to follow that same trajectory. So that's why I say, guys, you can get into it. Like I said, do your own research, do your own due diligence. A really recommended book I read is called The Bitcoin Standard. Very excellent book. It was written in 2018. It really explains kind of the history of money and from an economist standpoint, guys. I'm not an economist. I'm an investor and things like that. I'm a vlogger. But if you guys want like Bitcoin from like a more I would say academic, from a level like an accomplished economist type thinking, check out that book, The Bitcoin Standard. I'm going to put that in the link as well. But like I said, guys, I'll be uploading more videos where I think Bitcoin is going. So be sure to smash a thumbs up if you enjoy this content and smash the red subscribe button to subscribe to my channel to receive more videos. And that's it, guys. So until next time, take care.